Words can hurt, and many are calling for hate speech to be illegal. But as a country, are we willing to let the government restrict what we can and cannot say? Today, we're bringing the team together to take a deeper look and see how everyday people on the street feel about this issue. Find your spot. Lim's always the last to the party. Hate speech. Should it be illegal? What we want to do is go out and we're going to talk to people out on the streets. We want to know, number one, how people feel about this issue. And number two, we want to ask some really thought-provoking questions so that they can come to a better conclusion for themselves as well. It's a little bit scary, but like, how do you guys expect this
Maybe
to go?
more than a little bit scary.
Do you feel like someone's like going to blow up in your face?
I don't think anyone's going to blow up in our face. I think once we get talking to people, even if they totally disagree with us, we're going to be able to have some really good conversations.
Bro, I think you're wrong.
Why do you think they're going to be upset?
Huh?
If you're just asking questions.
Because it's just the way it is right now. Approximately 40% of the country right now is stressed out because of politics. 1 in 5 people have a strained relationship with a family member over politics.
I think one of the things I would be interested to see is if we can kind of tease out the difference between being offensive and whether or not being offensive should be illegal.
One of the questions we should ask is, do people believe in the idea of free speech? I think we should also ask the question, do you believe that hate speech should be illegal? And then expound upon that and see what their definition of hate speech is.
Because that seems to be like the crux of the matter to begin with. Like, what is that definition and who, more specifically, is setting that definition ultimately? Right. It's cool to understand where are people coming from.
All right, guys, break. Let's go.
Can we do that together? 1, 2, 3.
No.
No. All right, let's do this.
Are we ready?
I'm Lim, bro.
I'm here for absolutely no reason other than to babysit.
I have to ask somebody by end of day.
First question is, do you believe in free speech?
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the American way.
That's important, right?
Yeah, what we're doing
like,
right
we need
now.
to express ourselves.
So do you believe in freedom of speech?
I definitely do.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you think that hate speech should be illegal?
I don't even, that's a tough one.
Do you think hate speech should be illegal?
I mean, I do. I hate to hear my name in another person's mouth.
Well, then do you think hate speech should be illegal?
Yeah, especially in public.
Okay.
Should be illegal? Yeah, should be illegal. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It should be illegal?
In my opinion, it should be, because if it's causing riots and fights or any kind of civil disobedience.
Debería ser ilegal.
No necesariamente ilegal. Todos tienen el derecho de poner su opinión.
I don't think so. Maybe fined, but
That's some gray area.
yeah,
Here's maybe a better question. How would you define hate speech?
things like race, like
sexual
disability,
orientation, things that people can't control if you will judge them for that.
Racism and like any phobics about anyone.
Racist remarks in general.
Race is mostly, I mean, that's probably what it would be.
Anything that offends anyone.
If you said something that was offensive to me, do you think that I should be able to prosecute you for that?
Like, I feel like there's certain lines you shouldn't cross, and if you cross those lines, then I think you could.
How do you feel about free speech?
If you said something racist, you think it would be okay for me to report you and then go to jail for that? Or be fined for that?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be down. I don't really say anything racist, so.
If you say something that I deem offensive, do you think you should have to pay a fine or go to jail for that?
No, because anybody could be offended by anything.
What's deemed offensive is pretty subjective anyways, right?
Because everyone has different opinions, so some people will be like, oh, this is hate speech, but some people say no.
To one person it may sound wrong, and then to another it may sound right. It's going to be weird to pinpoint which is bad and which is not without having bias in the way, you know.
Who's going to decide? Where's the line drawn
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a little bit of a gray area, because I could be saying something and not actually intend for it to be, offensive.
Yeah. If I say I'm offended, like, no, offended, bro. Can't do it.
That's freedom of speech, right? I mean,
It is.
That's kind of that's on the same line as that, so I mean,
But then it also just depends on intent,
How can you tell
what they're
intent?
saying.
How do you think?
I don't know, I'm not a psychologist.
So like you shouldn't have to pay a fine or go to jail because you offended us because of free speech. Like you should be able to say that, and free speech protects you.
Exactly.
So that I can't just be like, hey, you offended me and now you should have to pay a fine. Okay.
I mean, it's America, so you're supposed
It
to.
is. It's a beautiful thing.
Whatever, so.
You might can say something about me, for instance, being black, and then my friend might not care 2 words about it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but
you
it just
say something because like I'm Asian or something. And you
Right.
don't like that. You don't like Asian food.
First of all, I didn't know you were Asian.
I'm offended.
You offended?
You go to jail.
I go to jail now.
So in Venezuela, where I'm from, in 2017, the government passed a hate speech law that banned hateful speech and speech promoting fascism. But the only people arrested for it have been people speaking out against the government.
Because they only do it to where it's convenient for a certain group of people.
Yeah.
Hence the government.
Yeah.
Even in Mexico, certain things are banned, certain channels are banned.
There's a difference between like saying what you believe in and being offensive and hateful.
Well, what if something is interpreted as like hateful or offensive, but it's what you believe in?
I mean, that's a hard one.
Is that something you appreciate about the U.S.? Is the big
freedom.
amount the freedom of expression
Right,
compared to
yes.
other countries?
Yes.
We should throw that away. That's littering. I don't want
Do you think there's any potential danger in making hate speech illegal?
No, I don't think there's any at all. I don't think there is any at all.
What if Donald Trump
Listen.
said, "Hey, you can't say this"? Would you be in support of that?
No.
No, yeah.
I know, because I would totally lose my mind then. Like, what? Hold on. Yeah.
So you still think it should be illegal?
I know this kind of go back. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be technically illegal.
The same thing with like Joe Biden or Barack Obama. Like if they made a rule saying you can't say this, you wouldn't want them to do that?
No, not completely. No, I wouldn't want anybody to do it. Yeah, I would rather be able to say what I want.
So I think you don't support hate speech laws.
I guess you can say that.
I guess so.
You can say that, right?
So even if it's offensive, you can still say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Without
the
having to go
freedom
to
of
jail.
speech,
Yeah.
like it always been back in the day.
Yeah.
As long as it's like you said, like not inciting violence or like physically hurting anyone, I think everyone should be able
You have a different take on it or similar?
No, I'm pretty much the same. I mean, as you know, yeah.
Those guys were really cool. I think they kind of changed their mind.
So in Venezuela, where I'm from, there is a hate speech law. So you can put in jail for anything that anyone thinks is hateful or anything the government thinks is hateful.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had that here though, like so many people would be locked up like right now. I never thought about that.
It's kind of what we want to do, just talk about it and have people think about it. So I'm glad that you got to think about it. Glad we got to have this conversation.
Yeah,
Thanks so much again. Yeah. See ya. Well, that last guy disagreed with me, but then he actually changed his mind the more he thought about it.
Right.
Howdy, welcome back to the circle. Do you feel like your perspective has changed at all, or were you able to make any progress with anyone else? Tell me the good stuff.
We talked to some people from Mexico. They seemed more appreciative of their freedom of speech. And I know I do as well, coming from like Venezuela. I've lived in Latin America, and I'd appreciate just America in general more.
Something I thought that was interesting that people kept bumping up against was this confliction between like, I want to say that hate speech should be illegal. It seems right. But then when we probed them a little more and we made it personal, they didn't want to make hate speech illegal. And there was this confliction and they weren't sure where to go.
On an applicable level, they were not in favor of hate speech at all, and especially when it turned personal. One lady, because when I told her I was Asian, she said, "Oh yeah, I didn't actually think you were Asian." And I had like a moment like, "Oh, I'm offended," or whatever, and then she laughed. And then we took her to jail, so.
We said, quickly, we'll have to look at the film, but I don't remember her answer to
She
that.
didn't end up changing her mind. She was very adamant. Hate speech should
And she was very
require
nice.
punishment. And yeah, she was very nice. She was very happy.
Well, sometimes the biggest victory that we'll have is someone stepping outside of their comfort zone and trying to understand.
That's true.
You may not get to change their mind, but ultimately, if you can have them take a step back and be like, I understand.
Even the people who really tried to stick with wanting hate speech to be illegal really didn't want the government to be the ones deciding it. So that was something interesting. It was really difficult to try to pin down who would decide that and what that would look like if you were in the political minority, if you were the ideological, subgroup right there, what that would look like as far as them restricting your speech They didn't want their speech to be restricted, but they wanted hate speech to be illegal.
People also seem to think that hate speech should be illegal, but not for anything they would say. And it was hard to get them to understand, oh, something you say might be hate speech to someone.
We have the same deal. Nobody's gonna ever assume that they're gonna do anything worthy of that, but that's like the whole point. Like in terms of offensiveness, someone else is gonna find it offensive, and so you need protection for you at the end of the day.
So thanks for coming. It's been really fun. Thank you for watching this episode of Stop Yelling, Start Thinking. If you have not subscribed to our channel at Freedom ISDS, please do that. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stop yelling and start thinking.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Let's go.
Oh, click the buzzer. You didn't say click the buzzer.
Then he goes, we did it.
We did it.